Then we had number 9 Georgia going on the road at Auburn. This game was really weird. Auburn was winning for a lot of this game. They were 10-0. They had a chance to go up by 17, and very, very unfortunate thing happened to Auburn, Jack. You want to elaborate on that?
Absolutely. I mean, the officiating was just horrible in this game. It was really hard to watch, and this is maybe the worst officiated game I've seen maybe ever. This was just awful.
Right.
I don't know if they had replacement refs or in there or anything, but
Had to have been.
they haven't even made a statement. I mean, they made a statement when Auburn got screwed on that trick play against Oklahoma, but they really haven't said anything. I hope they do because this was just awful. I mean, I'm not totally against that call on the fumble on the goal line. I know some people are like, it's clear, it was clearly a fumble, it was clearly a fumble, or he was clearly across. It was not clearly a fumble, but it was interesting because it was called a fumble on the field, and there really wasn't like substantial evidence to really say that he had crossed the goal line. I'm of the opinion that he did cross the goal line, but when it's calls on the
Right.
field, you need like evidence concrete to really
Right.
overturn it. So I'm not totally against that. What I am against is the like half hour we spent from the 2 minute warning to halftime, where it was just like we'd have a play, they would take like 10 minutes to review it, another play, another 10 minutes. It was like, are we even watching a football game right now? Like, this is not supposed to happen. Just
Right.
stopped. And there was no injuries, no timeouts, no weather delays. It was just the refs like messing up and not knowing how to do their jobs. This was just so frustrating to watch. And like, I hope that was not someone's first college football game they ever saw. Because if they saw that and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is a huge rivalry," and
Right.
like this was a very hyped up game coming into the this week, just because Auburn and Georgia is always a great game. It feels like, but this was just so frustrating. And there was one play which it was just it made me so angry because going into the second half, Kirby Smart is clearly calling a timeout. Clearly, he's not clapping. He's calling a timeout. The
Right.
official stopped the play, and he's like, "Oh no, I was clapping." And they just give him a free play. There's no delay of game or anything, and they don't charge him a timeout. So they just gave him a free play. It's not like he's the coach, you're the ref, you have jurisdiction here. Like you're
Right.
not supposed to let him boss you around. And what does the SEC do? No, that ref doesn't get like punished for anything, and they don't get to talk about anything. Like they don't get microphones shoved in their face after games to show like, why did you make this call? No, they're just free
Right.
from all that scrutiny. So this was
Right.
just I mean, there was a couple missed calls in Big Ten games. Like there was a missed PI in the
Mhm. Right.
Ohio State Illinois game that should have been called. There was a missed PI in the Illinois Oregon game. College football
Mhm.
officiating has been bad, but I don't think it's ever been this bad. This was just it made this game like unwatchable, and I think this just
Right.
needs to be fixed.
Right.
And I don't know if you watched this game as close because there was a lot of games going on. What did you think about this game?
Right. I mean, it definitely feels like they wanted Georgia to win this one. It
Right,
really does suck for Auburn because they really came into this really needing a bounce back win, and it felt like they were going to get it for a minute because that's a tough, like it's a tough ask. You look at everything that Auburn has done. Like they went on the road at Oklahoma at full strength when Mateer was healthy, even though he had got his hand hurt in the first quarter, but before surgery he was a lot better in that game. And then you go on the road at Texas A&M, who was just swallowing teams, and they did a lot better than Mississippi State in terms of points because they only allowed 16. Like they were still relatively close, but if you're going on the road at Texas A&M, it feels like that's as best as you're going to get. And then now you're hosting Georgia in a game that you were so close and you were 10-0 with a chance to go up by a touchdown and really should have. And then honestly, the officiating, it really just feels like they wanted that Georgia and Ole Miss game to be a top 10 matchup next week. It's just really unfortunate because what do you mean? You called the timeout. And how were the refs listening to this? Why are they agreeing with you? Like, you're not the boss of them. Why does it feel like he owns
right.
them? It's like it's really so utterly despicable that that was allowed. And like you said, with all the reviews, like everything that they did was just so mishandled. And Auburn like really didn't get any breaks where it's like maybe if you think okay, he did fumble the ball, maybe even that, but it's just like the amount of calls that went against them is so suspicious, Jack.
Absolutely. And we were talking earlier about the Oklahoma Auburn game where that trick play really shouldn't have happened. And they came
Right,
forward and kind of explained. And it just shows like how unlucky this season has been for the Auburn Tigers. I mean, this just sucked for them just to have to go through this
right,
awful officiating. And that really did flip the momentum completely with that fumble. Because before that,
right.
10-0, you're going to go up by 17 points. And
Mhm.
Georgia, before that fumble happened, they had run 12 plays the entire game. And that was at near the 2-minute warning. Auburn had complete control of the game. They were
Right,
under 100 yards passing. They were under 50 yards rushing. Like Auburn's defense, they really came to play this game. And it
right,
really feels like the officials in the SEC just really just took this win away from them. Should have been an easy one for Auburn, just how they started
right.
out this game and really game planned for this Auburn team.
Mm.
And they just took it away from them. It's just so disgusting. And I really just hope they do something to improve it. But it's like there's no
Right,
commissioner. This is not like the NFL. They really just it's because it looks like it's kind of a free for all with this, but
right,
they don't do something to like it just ruins the game. It just ruins the integrity. It ruins everything,
right.
and
Exactly.
it just sucks. It just sucks.
Just sucks because the game's already over. Like the damage has been
Yeah,
done. And
yeah,
even that Oklahoma game when we were talking about that trick play, it really didn't feel too egregious. Like when you're watching it, you wouldn't tell that that was illegal. Like those are the ones.
right,
And then they came out with a statement. Like they came out with like a lot of paragraphs explaining like, hey, like really sorry about this. We should have called that better. And it's like whatever. It's like where is that when you have
right.
absolutely egregious calls against the
Yeah,
same team? It's just favoritism. It's just blatant
yeah.
favoritism, Jack.
It absolutely is, and that may be the worst call I've ever seen. And I know Kirby Smart came in after the game and was like, "I was clearly clapping. I was clapping." It's like, no, you were absolutely not, and you were gifted a free
Right.
play,
And you know it.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and you just had this rigged for you. It's just insane. I know Georgia is the bigger market, but like, if I was Hugh Freeze, I would absolutely lose my mind at halftime. I don't know how he keeps his head on his shoulders there because I would be screaming. Like, I don't know how he does it because he just seems so composed going into the locker room at halftime. Like, I don't understand. Like, to have that happen to my team when you clearly have the momentum and to just have
Right.
that flip for no reason is just insane. And I just feel sorry for Auburn right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean Auburn. This is just it really was stripped from them. And I feel like they've been
Yeah,
in a couple games like this where they really had chances and they had opportunities. And maybe you say the Oklahoma one, but that really didn't feel as egregious. Oklahoma had a great touchdown drive late to take the lead. Like Oklahoma's a great team and that's on the road. But this one, it's so much worse because it really was just stripped from them, Jack.
yeah, it absolutely is. And this is their third loss. Still think they're a great team and they have an overall great program there. So it just sucks that they had this happen to them. Like they had chances to win even the Texas A&M game, which it was close late, but they really didn't have a chance to win. They were gifted with a large interception return that almost went all the way. So you really can't say that game, but this one is really one they should have had. And just, I don't know what to say. I just hope it improves. And I hope they just come out and just say that they got rid of those refs or something. That would be good for me. But if they don't come out with anything, like how is it getting better? What are they doing to improve it? It
Right.
just, I think they're just hoping we all forget about it. But this is just easily the worst officiated game of the season I think I've ever seen. It was just awful.
Right. And if you even compare this, you could even compare this with the NFL as well, where if you think back a few years ago, where it was the Bengals and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, where even though like some calls, it's like, okay, I get that you called it that way. Okay, I get it. But it's just like the amount of calls that went against the Bengals. And on that team, they had kicker Evan McPherson, and his brother is the kicker on Auburn in Alex McPherson. and then he ends up kind of getting that college treatment version of that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is on the level of like Saints Rams in like
Right.
2019, that missed PI call,
Well, it's
or
just
like
a
the fail.
right,
Exactly, or like the fail Mary with Seattle and Green Bay. Like it's, and I just hope they come out with a statement like the NFL did with that Seattle game and kind of like said like those
right,
refs will never be coming out here because this
right.
is just exactly it's disgusting.
Right. And I think you could I don't know if you say that it is, but you could definitely argue that this is worse because those well probably will say the Fail Mary is like the worst thing ever probably. It's got to be.
Right,
But like you
right.
could even make the argument that this is worse than the Saints one because obviously that's terrible and in the spot of the playoffs that was like that's obviously atrocious, but it's just a blatant the rest didn't see it ridiculous. But this it's literally like he called the timeout, you charge him for the timeout,
Yeah,
and then he
yeah.
starts clapping and yelling at you, saying he didn't call a timeout when he clearly did. And then you give him the timeout back. And then you give him those benefits without the timeout. It makes zero sense, Jack. It's just,
Hero
I mean,
sense. Like,
we can
how did they
talk about
come
it
to that?
forever, but it's not going to change. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know this is going to be like a 30-minute segment, but like,
Right.
how do you come to that conclusion? You grab all your other buddies, your referee buddies, and you say like, okay, we're going to say he was clapping, but we're not going to charge him delay a game. We're going to give him a free play. We're not going to charge him a timeout.
Right.
Like, how do they?
Even if you don't give him a timeout, it's like, well, if he wasn't calling a timeout, then that's delay a game. What do you mean?
Exactly, exactly. Like,
Ridiculous.
I guess I don't know. I just don't know what to say about it. Like, this is just so egregious. And like, is this the first game like this ref has been coaching? Like, are the all these
Right.
refs been coaching? Because we've seen this again. I'll bring it up in the Illinois Ohio State game where that was just an
Right.
awful officiated game too. Like, is this just going to keep happening? I don't
Right.
know.
I don't know how you let a coach work you over like that when you're
Yeah.
the referee. Like, and this is
Right.
really interesting because you always see coaches chirp at the refs like this. You always see them yelling at things that, maybe they're calling it correctly. You see that a lot of times where the coach is yelling at him and they're crashing out or whatever. But I've never seen the referee going, "Oh, okay, yeah," and just completely change it to what you tell them. It's like, what do you mean? That's not how this sport
Yeah.
works. You can't just
It's
yell your way
yeah.
into getting what you want and then getting special treatment when you literally called the timeout. And even if you didn't, like it's obvious that you were trying to call the timeout to stop the penalty. What do you mean you were clapping? Makes zero sense. And if you guys are kind of confused about this situation, just look it up. It's honestly so egregious, and I can't believe that this is real, Jack.
It really doesn't. And while I was watching, I was like, how is this happening? How is this like an actual league? Like, especially with like the SEC that prides itself as like, oh, it just means more. This is just a better conference. This is a super conference, one
Right.
that stands above them all. That you have this bad of officiating.
Right.
How
On
can they
multiple occasions.
exactly like? How can they like provide that as constant context as like saying that they're like the best conference or like that it means more? I don't see that, and
Right.
I just don't understand like how yeah the Big Ten and the SEC like okay these are the conferences that are the best. How are these that
Right.
have the worst officiating then? I don't understand.
Right. It's ridiculous. I mean, bottom line is that it's not that the officiating it's terrible. It's just that they knew who they wanted to win, and they
Hmm.
made calls in order for that to happen. And at the
Right.
end of the day, that really is what happened in this. They wanted Georgia to win. Georgia won, and it would really look bad for their precious TV ratings. And to get College Game Day next week when they play Ole Miss, who is also very suspect, by the way. Ole Miss almost lost to Washington State. Like this whole thing is silly. Where it's like, I don't know. I mean,
Right.
both of those teams are playing
It
that hard.
probably should
I
have
would
been.
right,
Yeah. I was. Yeah. You go. You go.
right. Well, I would almost prefer them being at the insane in-state, super hyped rivalry with Utah BYU or like USC Notre Dame, things like that. And maybe like not those. If you want your SEC matchup, go to Tennessee, Alabama. Alabama's the hottest team in college football right now. Like the fact that they're doing this, and it's just well, we're really going on a tangent now, but it's just It really makes no sense, especially when you clearly called a timeout and they were clearly trying to take the game away from Auburn.
Yeah. Again, it's just so despicable. And isn't LSU Vanderbilt playing? That's a much better matchup
They're
too.
playing as well, yeah.
Yeah, like this is there's so many other games that you could pick, and like two teams that really struggled this week, especially Ole Miss with uh, Wazoo of all teams, like we just
Right.
mentioned.
And it's like, right. It's like
Yeah,
I understand that both of those teams are the highest ranked, and I understand that they're at number 5 and number 9, but like their rankings are heavily inflated, Jack. Like
yeah, they are.
Ole Miss beat a team that like doesn't really have any good wins unless you count Clemson, which you really can't anymore. And then like that's your best win, and they're still ranked pretty highly, by the way. Where it's like I understand people saying like, oh, like the SEC is the best conference. They have the best teams. I think they probably do, and they have the most depth. They're really deep this year. I get that, but so many of these rankings are so inflated. It's like you're gonna tell me that Ole Miss is in the top 5 right now. You'd be hard pressed to convince me that they're top 10. Like I just don't get this. And I think teams like Texas A&M deserve to be up there. Alabama deserves to be up there for sure. But it's like Georgia, what is their best win? Like at Tennessee? Like Tennessee practically gave them the game away. Tennessee's defense has been suspect against everyone. Tennessee isn't great. That's your best win. And you kind of got dominated by Alabama as well. Like it's just they're like, oh, like Georgia's already lost to Alabama. We can't have them losing to Auburn. That would look bad. It's like really, really unfortunate, and it's
Yeah,
really despicable. And we're still waiting on a statement. So hopefully we'll get
yeah,
an apology and hopefully several firings of an absolutely atrocious officiating crew.
yeah, absolutely. And like they could easily have two losses right now. They don't like run the SEC like it has been, and we
Right.
know they couldn't they can't really beat Alabama. Kirby Smart really can't, even
Right.
after Saban left. But they this should have been Auburn's win. I know we've been harping on it. Feels like it's been a minute, but
It's just so egregious. You have to.
this is
Yeah.
just I know. And this is I mean, what are we in week 7? Like, how is it this bad? I don't understand. And again, yeah, like you said, I hope there's a lot that goes into like their statement on this. And if they don't make a statement, like I just hope people see this. Just see this in
Right.
general. Just see that moment and just really because I know people like Joel Platt and Josh Pate and like other people have like said how bad it is. I just hope like this reaches on a more big scale and there's something that actually gets done about it because it has been suspect in the past, but this one really takes the cake.